Does off-market mean sold in real estate? Off-market doesn't mean what you think it means. Many beginners confuse off-market with sold and they miss out on deals. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what off-market means and why it's so important to you. You'll know the real definition of off-market and how to find opportunities that other people just overlook. Okay, so I want to be a real estate investor. I want to find a house. What's the first thing I do? Whoa! I go on Zillow. I go on Realtor.com. I go online and I type in properties that I can buy. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, from doing this for 30 years, the deals on the MLS are not deals at all. They are listed properties, but once a property is public, the masks will come out and the competition will be fierce and there'll be no longer a great deal to get your hands on a house like that. One person might get a good deal, but most of the time it gets bid up way higher than it's actually worth because there's so many rookies out there that are overbidding on properties just so they can say they bought a property. I remember going to a real estate seminar over 15 years ago. And the guy was kind of a sleazier salesman kind of a guy. And he was in front of the room and he said one line that always stuck with me. And he said to the room, "If the house is on a list, the deal don't exist." And I thought that was a cheesy line, but I never forgot it because he's right. If the house is already listed on some type of a list, there's probably not a deal to be had. You want to find it before it ever makes one of those public sites that lists a property. Again, that's how we're defining what an off-market deal is. It is not on a list for sale. It is literally not visible to most buyers on the market. And that is where the gold is. There's a reason why gold is so valuable and diamonds are so valuable. Why? They're difficult to find. Well, finding a flip that makes you $50,000 or $100,000, if that were easy to find, wouldn't everybody just do it? Be glad that it's hard to find, because once you master that skill, you'll be set for the rest of your life as a real estate investor. Just like diamonds or just like gold, off-market real estate deals need to be farmed for. You have to go digging. You have to have a system where you dig and you look and you grind to find those deals. Again, it's worth it, but you're gonna have to do that. So how do you do that? Look, there's two different ways or two different schools of thought with how you can do it. One requires you to invest money in marketing to make the phone ring to you. The other requires time to set up networks and to dig to go find properties. The simplest way to do it is to get in your car and drive around and look for properties that look like they're vacant. That's the simplest way to do it that costs you literally nothing. When you drive to places you already go already, school, church, work, the gym, I don't care, wherever you normally go, bring your kids to sporting events, whatever it might be, drive a different road. Don't drive the same road over and over and over again. Drive a different road and keep your eyes peeled for things like overgrown lawns. If you are living in the north or the northeast, northwest, well, you can look for snow that's not been shoveled, right? You can look for code enforcement bulletins or postings on the door or on the windows. You can look for a house that just looks vacant. You can tell when a house looks vacant and run down. Those are great opportunities to get out and talk to the neighbor. Don't be scared. You know, people get all nervous about that. You can get out and just talk to people and say, look, I am a real estate investor. I take homes in neighborhoods that are, run down and I make them look beautiful again. And I wonder if you might know anything about this particular house next door. And if you do that effectively and you get good at that, you will find more information than you ever need. And if you do it that way, you'll rarely have any competition when you go to make an offer on that deal. It is crucial that you get really good at these kind of simple things. So driving for dollars is number one. Number two, you can set up referral networks with real estate agents, with estate sale companies, with dumpster companies, with clean out companies, other people that are going to be in front of potentially motivated sellers to sell their house before they put it on the open market. And you can pay them a referral fee to bring deals to you. If you want to learn about that, I have full-on training videos right on the channel. Subscribe and learn right now. They're all there for the taking, right there for you to learn. Those are all ways that don't cost any money to find an off-market deal. Now, there's ways you can spend money to find off-market deals. You can advertise. You can put out "We Buy Houses" signs. They call those bandit signs. The next thing you can do is you can do direct mail or direct postcards to certain people. You can buy specific lists of people that you want to target and send information to. Again, on our channel, we go into a lot more detail. I could spend 2 hours on that topic alone, but you can spend money and make the phone ring to you. Here's what you should know about off-market deals though. If you don't find a way to find off-market deals and you try and live solely on retail deals, there's no more margin for you. Because once it goes from an off-market deal to an on-market deal, the margin disappears. So finding an off-market deal is where you want to spend your time. So not only do you want off-market deals, you really want to focus on motivated sellers. What's a motivated seller? A motivated seller means they've gotten themselves in a position in life, either through their own fault or through no fault of their own, where life has hit them pretty hard. The 10 Ds of motivated sellers, so death or disease or divorce or decayed or dilapidated or downsized, and on we go. These are all reasons that people need to sell a house to get their cash out fast. Just finding an off-market house that's for sale doesn't mean anything unless it's a motivated seller, because a motivated seller is going to sell for less expensive. And that brings me to my next point. As real estate investors, why do we want to find off-market deals? Because that's where the margin is. And if you go the next step and say, not only do I want off-market deals, I want motivated seller off-market deals, that's where you find your greatest margin as a real estate investor, because they have to sell. Usually, they stay off-market because they're embarrassed. They don't want to show people their house. They don't want a bunch of people going to their house and seeing how they live, which may not be very pretty. If it's a hoarder situation, or maybe they inherited a hoarder house, they're embarrassed of how their family lived. They don't want to show it to anybody. They don't want to show them their parents' house that maybe has been, lived in for the past 50 years and never fixed, and nothing was repaired and nothing's been updated. And they're like, I don't want to show people this. And they just don't want the embarrassment of having to call a realtor and go through what they perceive as that process. So they want to reach out to someone like you. So you have to have your hook in the water, so to speak, so that you can either have the agents that they call you first, right? Set up a referral network so they call you first, or you are marketing to them so that when they decide they don't want to use a realtor, but they see your marketing where it says, hey, no realtors, no commissions, no fees, that they call you. If you do that, you'll have off-market leads that'll come into you on a consistent basis, and that's how you build a successful real estate investing business. And here's one more pro tip that you might not be thinking about. Did you know that if you buy an off-market deal that is not on the MLS, there is no more public record, at least not easy to find, of how much you paid for that property? You see, when you buy a property on the MLS, they will list how much you paid for that property. So if you've paid $50,000 for a house and you're trying to sell it for $250,000, people, potential buyers, think they have leverage on you. Well, you paid $50 and you're going to sell it for $250. I'm going to negotiate the heck out of that deal. No, you're not, but it can cause a headache for you. However, if they have to go to the county records to find those and really dig around to find out what you paid for the house, they're not going to go to all that trouble to do that if it's not readily available. It won't be on Zillow, and it won't be on a local MLS site. They won't be able to see the property history. So, not for a long time anyways. So that's a good thing for you as a real estate investor. By the time you get the house sold, they'll have no idea what you actually paid for it in the first place. It just saves on headaches and negotiations later on. If you're confused about off-market, it's probably very simply because you don't know your target. Go watch my next video, the crucial step that new investors always make, so I can teach you how to build a buy box. So you're not wasting your time looking at every property that comes down the pike, even if it is off-market. I want you to know exactly what you should be focusing your time on so you can be a proficient investor. And that means you make a lot more money. So go watch this video. It's right here in the link below.